You can talk about these things in a much more sanitized way that you can develop to include all of the comprehensive information that you want. But you can't start at butt plugs. Context, I think one dude says he was literally G-roomed, but still appreciated the safe space the teacher made to talk about these kinds of sexuality. Yeah, that's the same kind of story that Milo Yiannopoulos had when he was on Joe Rogan that kind of started him unraveling. He made a joke at the end about how he was kind of a joke in the sense that he was alluding to this kind of thing. But this is exactly why we don't want to push the gender roles, even the traditional gender roles, because then you create a situation where a kid is going to want to go talk to another teacher. They know the teacher's gay, and then it can get messy. If you just acknowledge the reality, like, hey, this may be something you're dealing with, that is something that you go talk to your parents or your priest or whoever. That is not the job of the school. Division Plus says at least if they go so in detail in same-sex relations, they should also teach them the consequences, like high risk of getting diseases like HIV and syphilis. Well, yeah, that's always been a part of sex education, but you don't have to go into that detail to talk about you can get sick. There are fluids in your body, and if they touch your body, then you can get sick. That is how you talk to a child about things that they need to learn, but don't need to engage in. As they get older, now the school has laid a foundation. And then the parents, friends, whatever else will build that up. But this is just not it. Zippy said, what's the correct way? It's never what you think it is when a committee is involved. Yep, agreed. And with Lefty Lucy, just another reason to homeschool. Yeah. Absolutely.
Hey, girl.
Always me.
So our big, the OG, he's the only one who says no. Let's see if he can save this.
I was listening and Clarkson kind of made the point that the government really shouldn't be in the business of teaching your children about your sexuality. No one taught us how to be gay. Who taught you how to be gay?
Based. Who taught you how to be gay? Oh, you just figured it out? Works for me.
Was it the internet? Okay. It would have. Yeah.
My uncle actually, I didn't know he was gay.
So it was a family member.
Yes, I didn't know he was gay.
For me, as a gay man who grew up with parents who were very, very prudish, they had no idea. They didn't even want to have the conversation. I am that example that should have been taught at school, but I learned. I figured it out on my own, just like many of us ultimately do. I know as an individual, it would have helped me if someone in my own family, an uncle, a parent. For me, I think it's the government's job to start educating these parents, because the parents need to have these sensitive conversations with their children.
I'm good with that too. I'm good. Hey, shout out to Uncle Junior Network. What is good? Welcome to the party. Another awesome YouTuber. Just dropped the link to their channel. Please go check that out. Welcome. We are going through gays on gays. It's conservative gays versus liberal gays. We started this on the last stream, but it was so good, we just had to finish it up. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much from the Uncle Junior Network. No question, no comment, just pure love of the game. Unfortunately, Morty is terrified right now, but we have a running count of his treats that he's earned from you guys. And we're going to give that a double. Thank you, sir. And of course, that makes you the new sponsor of the stream. Thank you so much.
The best metric for a child's success is the parental involvement. And what we're doing right now, we're teaching the children about sexuality and completely not involving the parent. We're leading them down a road for psychological issues because they've got no support system at home. We're creating a school system that's supportive and a home system that they think is unsupportive. We live in 2023. Most of the people are very accepting. Parents are understanding, but parents have to know what's going on in their children's lives so that they can be prepared. And I think it's the school's responsibility to prepare those parents, not to have children have these conversations with parents, because children do not teach their parents.
I like that a lot. Shout out again to Uncle Junior Network. Thank you so much. But I like that instead of saying, okay, we're going to have these conversations with your children, And then the child then goes back to the parent and figures out, they discover whatever they like, they don't like, so on and so forth. Why not? If you care so much about this, why don't you take a class? Why don't you take a seminar on how to talk to your children about sex? And then you don't even have to worry about homeschooling. I mean, I'm not, not that there's other issues, but I'm saying within this specific issue, then you're good. We're going to take this out completely. This is what we think is the best thing to teach children when it comes to the birds and the bees. If you would like to add extra stuff about gays and trans and butt plugs and stuff, that's your freedom as a parent. But we do think that scientifically and through sociological study, psychological study, understanding the development of the brain, the age that kids find this stuff, the fact that kids are going to experiment with things anyway, this is the bare minimum that we think that your kids should know at this age. And it's not our responsibility to teach these things. But this is a way that you can teach your own children. What's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? Dustin says conservative gaze is a confusing combination of words. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. But because of the identity politics on the left, it's not confusing, but it's you don't hear it that often. Zippy says information, not indoctrination. Government has issues with that. Committees were involved. Mistakes were made. Yep, always. Nick says, I only ever knew if a teacher was married or not, but that was as close to talking about sex as I got with teachers, other than 6th grade education and freshman year in health. Yeah, this is a complete fabrication. This is is it a straw man argument? I don't think I'm using that right, but it's just a bad argument to say that we need to be teaching these things. No, you just don't. You can talk about these things in a much more sanitized way that you can, over time, develop to include all of the comprehensive information that you want. But you can't start at butt plugs. You cannot start at butt plugs. Shout out to Indie Film. Welcome to the party, brother. Good to see ya. Guantex says, I'm down for teaching parents as long as it's not forced education. Well, it's not. No, it's just, again, a packet. This is what we would have been teaching your child, but now we think it's more appropriate for the parents to be doing it. Done. Vision Plus says, no cap, this smart gay man making me want to switch to his lane. Okay, fair enough. Whatever floats your boat, bro. And Dustin's with it. No, I'm just kidding. Welcome, Indy.
How do you get parents involved when they don't support it, though? Like, I have a lot of really good friends who are educators, and they want the parents involved, but a lot of their parents are coming to school already queerphobic.
You mean concerned about their children? I was right there with you, but you have to attach these buzzwords where they're already queerphobic. Maybe, like, how do you know that? Did you ask them, or are you just assuming that because they don't want something taught to their children in a specific place and time and manner that they're bigoted? I forgot what he even said before that I was agreeing with.
Parents involved.
Oh,
they don't
yeah.
support it, though. Like, I have a lot of really good friends who are educators, and they want the parents involved, but a lot of their parents are coming to school already queerphobic.
So, I mean, aside from the queerphobic part, that is a decent question, but we cannot address that question if we are not first deciding that the parents are the ones who are responsible for this. So I think that's a good question, aside from the queerphobic part.
Right. See, and that's the challenge. That's the challenge for the schools. It's not the school's job to overstep that unsupportive parent and then shelter that child, because now that child has created a two world system where I feel safe here, but I don't feel safe at home. And then the state comes and takes the children. Which is
Bruh. Dropping knowledge here. Now it's not just about finding a safe space for the child, but if you are taking, if you're creating that safe space, you're now creating a dependency. You're now separating the child from their family and home. You can't, I mean, unfortunately, as much as you might love to do this, you can't dictate how parents raise their children. And sometimes parents are just not going to be nice. That's not a job that's not a thing that you can fix as a teacher.
Happening.
How do you feel about waivers? Like, how do you feel about schools saying, oh, we're going to teach your kid this, and the kid comes home with a waiver? Like, if they sign it, then you're okay with the school teaching it. But if the parent doesn't sign it, then they go in another room, and the parent teaches it.
Yeah,
Are you cool with
absolutely.
something like that?
I would completely agree with that. Yeah.
I just keep thinking about it as you say that is, I have a friend who had a great life at home until his parents found out he was gay. And then they shut him out. They kicked him out of the house. They still haven't spoken to him. He's in his late 20s now. And he was unable to get in-state tuition in college because they would not help him fill out the FAFSA, which requires him to have their tax information. And so would it be great to live in a world where A, it's possible to reach all parents and educate them and change them from being bigoted? Great. Would it be great to be in a place where that is doable? Awesome. But,
but it's not.
And
before he goes and make a different kind of point, like the jean jacket dude just did, I agree that, it can be tough. It can be tough when your parents don't accept you, but that is not something that is unique to the LGBT community. There's entire actual communities that are made up of people who were kicked out of their family because they no longer believe in religion. So yes, I do think that is a problem within the family and certainly for the person, but that is not an issue that a school can solve. I'm sorry, that's just not how that works. Sippy said, queer phobic or afraid of the pedos? I mean, governments were supporting people lopping their parts off so they can live on social aid. Yeah, I mean, it's that is semantic obfuscation.
But I was groomed by a teacher, and it was only possible because it was not okay for teachers to talk about being gay, except the one teacher who went out of his way to make his room a safe space.
So that is kind of going to exactly what we're saying, that if you were G-roomed by a teacher because none of the teachers were allowed to talk about it, then we should make sure that, what do you mean? What do you mean? If none of the teachers were allowed to talk about it, then how did you talk to the kid about it? Like, maybe I'm missing something. Let's try.
Gay, except the one teacher, because it was not okay for teachers to talk about being gay, except the one teacher who went out of his way to make his room a safe space.
Okay, so I think he's saying that because the other teachers, because none of the teachers were allowed, this one teacher decided to break the rules and be a savior for the gays and create a safe space. But he also just said he was groomed by a teacher. So that means that all the other teachers were doing the right thing, and the guy who broke the rule groomed you. So what are we talking about?
And because he was the only teacher and happened also, separately from being open, to be a pedophile.
What are the chances of that, right? I mean...
He was able to groom myself and others. And so unless and until kids feel like they can be completely safe wherever they are, and knowing that...
Hold on.
Changing parents is kind of...
No. This is not the world we live in. Yes, we want children to feel safe. But to teach a child that they are completely safe and there's nothing dangerous is not the goal. Listen to him again.
Well, unless and until kids feel like they can be completely safe wherever they are.
They are not completely safe wherever they are. That is further delusion that you are trying to put on these children. Yes, you want them to feel safe in general, but you're saying it as if you come to this school and nothing bad is going to happen to you. That's not how the world works. Zippy said, "There's just saying there are so many complex things that it's very hard to mandate things because of the committee effect. So all you can do is trust the parents." Yep. Nick says, "I hear you, man. This makes me so glad I don't have children. I am right there with you. I mean, I've always wanted children, but definitely glad I'm not dealing with any of this."
And knowing that changing parents is kind of an impossible lift, to be frank. Not making it mandatory to create safe spaces for LGBTQ kids in schools is begging for disappointment.
Okay, then what about the atheist safe spaces? What about the Christian who lives in a Muslim house spaces? What about the gay person who wants to? I mean, it never ends. It never ends. This is a never-ending quote unquote solution. This is something that would create that I'm sure you would love to be the head of it for the next 50 years and get paid a nice salary to go out and be like, I am so helpful to the gays. Like this is such myopic and childish thinking. Jay said, kids should feel safe, but I'm not going to lie and fill their heads with sunshine and rainbows about the world. Exactly. Lucy said, the fact that these damaged men want so much to mess up kids' heads, it's sick. Yeah.
How dare you?
I mean, I don't think that they want to mess up kids. It's just the thing that they want is going to mess up kids. Jay said, not everyone is going to be your friend in life, and there are nasty people out there.
Bingo.
Just that simple.
Begging for failure. And to your point about learning about being gay, the ways that I learned about being gay, especially from the internet, I'm almost 40. There's baggage from that I still carry with me.
100%.
And so if I had been
I can understand that's a legitimate issue. But let's not pretend that that's a gay issue. That's a corn issue. You're just trying to squeeze all of these things into about being gay when you're just taking other issues that everybody has to deal with. And because you're gay, you're acting like you need special protections. No.
comprehensively educated when I was a kid in school, my life would be meaningfully different today.
I think for me, the easiest thing to look at is like where you have sex education, teen pregnancy goes down, right? Yes. Education is power. It would be something similar for queer people. Like if we had information about who we can be and how we can exist in all these different ways, it would empower kids in a way that they should be empowered.
There would be billboards for pride.
Empowered. We have to empower the children. You know what is empowering to children? Understanding that there are things in the world that they don't need to be concerned about because the adults have it under control. That's what kids need. So moving on to our next prompt.
Monogamous relationships are difficult to find in the gay community.
I would have to imagine that all of them run forward at this one. From what I understand, the hookup culture that we see in straight dating now is just the standard of what was in the gay community for a long time. Yep, I knew he would be up there.
Step forward on this one.
There you go.
So, I assume that these two back here are going to say, "Well, I'm in a relationship, so it can't be that hard." Because I can't. Well, I don't know. Let's see.
I think it's difficult in today's day and age and like just in general, like to find a monogamous relationship. You know, I started with experience at an earlier age. So I'm 22 now. I lost my virginity at 16. Me being 22, I know from all the experience with different partners and just having, you know, I guess my fun.
At 22? At 22?
I am looking for something with substance, you know? I'm at the age.
Yeah, if you don't bring any crack, it ain't. If you don't bring crack, you ain't getting in my crack. Oh, I don't care if anybody found that funny. I found that hilarious.
Age gap where a lot of, you know, people around my age, they want to have their fun. You know, they probably just lost their virginity at 18, 19. Some people are losing their virginity now, which is fine. You know what I mean? So they want to experience life or hookup culture. And then there are some people who that's just what they want to do for the rest of their life. They don't want to be tied down. So it makes it very difficult because a lot of times even meeting someone, it's one of those things where they want their cake and eat it too. Like, you know?
I think there's something to be said about a lot of gay men. And again, this is straight people do this too, but we're just talking about gay people that say they want monogamy, but they don't actually want it. They just want it for the person they're with. And that's a little shade to my ex, but anyways, no, but I think it has more to do with the fact that we are very focused on our pleasure a lot in our community. And we haven't really learned, not necessarily to repress it, because you shouldn't repress sexual desire, but we haven't really learned how to
be modest. To just be modest and to celebrate the fact that you are a gay man who likes to screw other dudes, and that is something that should be okay in our society. for you to do. We don't need to see it. Hey, shout out to Kelly Green. Welcome to the party, Kelly Green. Good to see you. Kelly says, he says you shouldn't repress, meaning you shouldn't practice self-control. Easy way out by calling it repression. Well, no, I think if we let him finish, I think we actually agree in the sense that if you are gay, I mean, unless you're saying that, unless you don't believe that gay people exist or that being gay is a choice, if we accept that, your preferences are your preferences, then it sounds like what he's saying is that we shouldn't need to repress ourselves. But that also doesn't mean we need to throw everything out there. I think that's where he's going. Let's see.
Focused on our pleasure a lot in our community, and we haven't really learned, not necessarily to repress it, because you shouldn't repress sexual desire, but we haven't really learned how to control it in situations that are particularly hard to do. Like if you're around somebody that you're extremely sexually attracted to, if you haven't, taken the time to examine yourself and make sure your actions correlate with the way you want to live, then you're going to cheat, or you're going to need an open relationship because you just have no capability of doing anything otherwise.
So it sounds like he's saying exactly that if we don't have a culture in the gay community, if they don't have a culture in the gay community of like, yes, you can be promiscuous if you want, but that there is also more to the love is love than it being about whether it's gay or not. I think there's a lot of, like you said, a lot of focus on the pleasure and just not anything else. Not about how to be, a normal person in society, despite the fact that you have this one thing that's not like everybody else. When we all have things that are different about us. I don't know. I feel like it's just, again, just throwing so much. It's almost like a struggle session. I don't know. Hey, shout out to Doodad Attack. Welcome to the party.
I think we're still healing from the generational trauma that came from the AIDS epidemic. I think a lot of people are still trying to figure out how to heal from that. And I do think that we have a big problem with substance abuse, sex addiction, and I think that needs to be addressed as a community. And I think as we start to look at why we are leaning into these things that are less productive for us on our regular lives, we can start to realize maybe this is part of that. I think whether it's, monogamous or non-monogamous, it's a couple's choice to figure out what works best for them. I think we've become very married to the idea of marriage in general, where people are willing to get divorced and remarried and divorced and remarried, where it's you're not really married to the person, you're married to the monogamy that comes with that marriage.
Yeah. But again, that's not a gay thing. That's just a people thing that relationships and marriages don't have the weight that they used to. I would be much more interested to hear about their experiences in trying to what were the issues that went wrong, aside from they just needed an open relationship or something. I think that would be a lot more interesting. Hopefully the disagreeers here will change it up. So if you're just joining us, the prompt is monogamous relationships are difficult to find in the gay community. We're watching Middle Ground, gay conservatives versus gay liberals. Those were the people who agreed that monogamous relationships are difficult to find in the gay community. Now stepping forward are those who disagree. Kelly said, damn, he sounds like he'd do well in a call center. Good one.
A lot of gays complain about this, but then they're looking on Grindr for a long-term relationship. I don't know.
Again, not much different than you looking for a long-term relationship on Tinder.
How you expect to do that, and who I have talked to, they're looking in the wrong places, it seems like.
It seems like there's a need to have a monogamous relationship, and I think that's good because I have one, but since divorce rates are so high, I wonder if it would be best if people did share each other, not all the time, but it's you date someone, maybe you try something else with someone else. I'm not saying
Why? Especially if you are in a committed relationship. If I was with this dude and I hear him saying, well, maybe we should share. Why? What are you missing out on? Except for, the pleasure and the novelty and the debauchery of fucking whoever you want. This is sad. I'm
saying that's the right way. I just don't know because some monogamous relationships work and some don't. I don't know.
I think love involves sacrifice, and I think sacrificing your desire for somebody else for the person you're with is ultimately what makes your love grow deeper. It's very hard for me to see an open relationship and think you're not willing to just commit to one person and just not be with somebody else.
But is that a Christian idea? Is that a hetero?
No, it's a natural tendency that while I do think that monogamy doesn't necessarily need to be for everyone, that it is for a lot of people the desire. And so, well, is this a heteronormative idea? Whether it is or it isn't, then people want that. So you can be gay and have heteronormative ideas without being less gay or whatever.
Heteronormative
No,
idea?
No, it's just an
that's a
idea of
scientific
me-
idea, because as a student of science, the most stable bond is a pair bond, period.
Sure.
But a pair bond for how long?
It can be forever. I mean, my pair bond, I'm expecting it to be forever.
Is there nuance in that though? Because
There
even
is.
as straight couples, there's like, I mean, you get in the 40s and 50s, there's swingers everywhere.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, we did not arrive at monogamy through evolution. It's a combination of some things, and there are benefits to pairing, but there are plenty of mammals in the wild that don't do lifelong pairing. One of the leading drivers of divorce is cheating, and it seems to me taking that off the table is a great way to prevent that one pitfall. Some of the happiest same-sex couples I know are in open relationships, and they make all kinds of other sacrifices for each other, making space for each other in other ways. I think we might be best served by surrendering that one of these is right and one of these is wrong, because we put each other and ourselves in a position of an expectation of, I should want this, or I should want that, I should be this,
I agree. He's talking about this notion of what we feel we should be doing instead of just doing what not just feels good, but what is best for ourselves long term. That's I really think what the what the point of this prompt really is.
And if that's inconsistent with what best serves us, that's a recipe for a failed relationship, regardless of whether or not it's supposed to be open or closed.
Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed that clip, check out the full live stream link in the bio and catch me live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. See you there.